I'm Cade, the owner and founder of Code 3 Junk Removal. We are a firefighter-based business out of Chandler, Arizona. And just a quick little intro. We do like garage cleanouts, apartment cleanouts. We do a lot of work with realtors. We do junk removal, commercial and residential. We do hot tub removals, pool fence removals, shed teardowns, things of that nature. And I've been meaning to start documenting my journey for 6 months to a year now, and I'm finally getting around to it. There's a few reasons I'm doing it. One is partially for selfish reasons. I want to be able to look back at this in 3 to 5 years and see my growth. Hopefully there'll be growth. And then my kids will be able to see it. And I just wish I would have started documenting prior. And another thing is just so I can see like where I'm at in the company. Right now we've got one junk removal truck and a trailer. For those of you that know, one truck can do around 250 to 300K a year, depending on the city, LA, Chicago, New York, or if you're in a more rural area. And we're right on pace to do that this year. We're looking at ordering our second truck and then obviously doubling revenue in the next year or two. We just hired our first full-time employee. There are 5 team members and then me and my wife, so there are 7 of us total at this time. And the other reason is I actually think I can bring some value. I've only been in business for about 2.5 years now, but I've been fortunate to be surrounded by some really smart people. And I'm not being cocky, but in a lot of ways, I've just out-executed a lot of people. You hear the expression that the competition's asleep at the wheel. Well, a lot of them are. In our blue-collar business, if you answer the phone, if you show up on time and you do a good job, you're already ahead of like 85% of your competition. But today, specifically, I want to focus on who you take your advice from. And I'm going to say that again. You need to be very, very careful who you take advice from. And I'll give you an example. I can tell you, when I first got started in junk removal, one of the first things I did, and I recommend everyone do this. You should go and do this. I joined the local Chamber of Commerce. And when I pulled up, I'm not going to say the company, but there was a truck there that was one of the franchises locally, and clearly he was there for the same meeting I was, so he was in the chamber also. And I don't remember what he was driving, but for like my own mental, it was an Escalade, big Cadillac, fully wrapped, and I showed up in my truck that probably didn't have magnets. It wasn't wrapped, like I was just getting started. I probably showed up in a t-shirt and didn't have polos yet. Probably Walmart khakis, covering the knee stains, and just, and I walk in, I meet the guy, and obviously I'm not going to say who it was, it doesn't matter, I wish him the best, whatever. And I meet the guy, and super nice, but he's like your prototypical businessman. He's got gold chain, gold bracelet, he's got slacks, he's got a button-up shirt, with his company logo on there, and he probably like had the Italian shoes with the little ruffle thingies. And I was just thinking, man, I hope he doesn't ask me how many employees I have, how many jobs I've done, how many trucks I've got, because it was like 0 and 7 jobs. Like I was just getting started, no employees, nothing. And I left that day, and then I just did my thing, kept growing my business. And then like 6 months later, I get a phone call from a customer. And of course, I did my spiel. I asked her, I said, well, how did you find out about us? And she said, I was referred to you. And I was thinking, okay, I'm a realtor, property manager. I was like, oh, who referred us? And she said, blah, blah, blah's junk removal, Joe Schmo's junk removal. And like I said, it was a franchise. And that struck me as weird. I said, well, just curious, were they too booked up? Were they too busy? Like, why did they refer me? And I'll never forget, she replied, they went out of business. And I was like, huh, that's really weird. So, I mean, by now I had started to gain some momentum. Like I had a good number of Google reviews. I was figuring this thing out. I was doing consistent behaviors for marketing that were bringing me jobs. And I was starting to gain my steam. So I called the guy and I said, hey, I appreciate the referral. Thanks. What's going on? And he said he went out of business. And I'll never forget that either. He told me, he said, junk removal is too unpredictable. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Because if I would have asked him that like a month before I started my business, I probably would have never started it. Because to me, he was the prototypical businessman, had it all together. And he says, he's in the business. And he says, dude, it's too unpredictable. Why would you want to do this? that totally would have deterred me. And I never would have started my own business. So the point of this message or this video is be careful who you get advice from. And in junk removal especially, it runs the whole gamut. You've got the guy operating out of his van or a truck and trailer, all the way to the independent operators that are running 3 or 4 trucks in 1 or 2 cities, to the 1-800-GOT-JUNK franchise out of Chicago. The guy was doing $10 million a year in junk removal. Can you believe that? $10 million doing junk removal. He had like 20 or 25 trucks. Like I said, each truck can do $250,000 a year. But just, it's amazing what you can do. So I just want to wrap this up. As I said, just be very careful who you take advice from, especially in our industry, because there are so many people with opinions and fake gurus, and it's unbelievable. The amount of people out there renting Ferraris and going in front of a mansion and doing videos and claiming to be some expert in business. So, with that, Code 3 junk removal coming in hot.